Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the FSS Football channel. Today we're back with the second episode of Premier League Preview, where we will be previewing every Premier League game week and giving our opinion on the match. This week is obviously game week 31, so this is the second week back from the break. Last week, these were the results, and what I thought the results would be. I mean, I didn't do too badly, I guess. I mean, I got off to a great start. The first one I got exactly right. But let's quickly talk about this moment. How on earth is that not a goal? It's so clearly gone on over the line. Hawkeye's come out and said that the technology was obstructed by the players and the posts, and that's why it's the first time it's ever been wrong in 9,000 or so odd games. I think that's ridiculous. I really do think that is ridiculous. I think it was more of a less technical error, more they forgot to turn it on or something like that. I don't believe the whole it was obstructed. There's been plenty of goals that have been more obstructed than that, and it's got the decision right. I think it's just a scenario where it's not been turned on. VAR has not reviewed it, because the fact that VAR hasn't reviewed it either, and it's so clear. I feel like they just either didn't turn it on. The referee might not have been wearing the right stuff. Might have just had his Fitbit on, but I don't believe it was. It was obstructed. I don't believe that for a second. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that like button below, subscribe down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload from the FSS channel. Also, check out my personal channel down below, FSS114, where I'll make gaming videos, vlogs, you name it, I'll probably make it at some point. Anyway, let's get into the video. On to this week's predictions. First game, we have Leicester City versus Brighton. Obviously, Leicester drew 1-1 with Watford after a last-minute goal from Ben Chilwell seemed to have won him the game for Craig Dawson's bicycle kick, where Kasper Schmeichel could do no more than just push it into his top corner. I don't see Leicester dropping points the same. I see him beating Brighton 2-1, who obviously got a great result of their own, beating Arsenal 2-1 in what was a horror show for Arsenal. Now, French striker Neil Maupay is coming under a lot of criticism due to his post-match comments and this challenge on Bernd Leno. Obviously, it's a bad one, and Maupay hasn't meant to do it. And I think you see these challenges all over the pitch, and then when you slow it down, yes, it's so clear that Leno has the ball in his hands before Maupay jumps for it. But the players aren't playing in slow-mo. That ball to Maupay is there to be won, and you're going to compete for it. And unfortunately, Leno has injured himself landing. I mean, is Maupay part of his fault? I would say so, yes. But, I mean, Leno trying to stay in the box, I think, has injured himself a bit. But I wish him a speedy recovery. It's not a nice injury and looks to be out for the rest of the season. But I'm going to go with a 3-1 Leicester City win. Next game is Spurs versus West Ham United. Spurs obviously played Manchester United in a 1-1 draw. Defensively was exceptional. Eric Dyer making obviously a world-class block to deny Anthony Martial a goal. And Hugo Lloris with an even better save to deny the Frenchman as well. West Ham, they look awful against Wolves. Jarrod Bowen was their best player by a mile, but they were clear second best throughout the game, and I see Tottenham winning this. Although West Ham, they get up for the big games. They've been known for beating London teams before. Obviously, they've beaten Chelsea this season 2-0. They were the first team to beat Tottenham at the new ground. So they've got it in them to beat Tottenham, but I don't see it happening. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs. Next, we have my team and the team that drew to Spurs, Manchester United versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United, since the break, has been nowhere near the level they were before the break. Drawing 0-0 to Aston Villa, obviously should have won 1-0, but didn't. Then they went on to lose 3-0 to Newcastle with the first 2 goals. If I'm gonna criticize, as I've criticised David De Gea and kind of Schmeichel for pushing it into his own net, I'm going to do it to Dean Henderson. You should save the first 2 goals. And then they let Joel Linton score. Obviously, they got a red card. So against Manchester United, Sheffield United will be without Egan and Dean Henderson. That is huge for Sheffield United. And I feel like Man United, especially now Pogba's back in, we saw the impact Pogba had on that Manchester United team when he came on. He brought Martial into the game. He had a poor game up until Pogba came on. Rushford got a few chances. He was poor again until Paul Pogba came on. And Pogba has to start this game. I see Manchester United getting the 3 points. I'm going to go 3-0. Newcastle versus Villa. Villa's been a weird team this season. They played well against Sheffield United, were probably the better team for a large majority of that game, but couldn't find the goal. They obviously did score against Chelsea. However, they couldn't hold the lead in a 5-minute spell. They conceded 2 goals and lost the game for themselves, really. I see this game being close, and I can see Villa snatching a win, sorry. So I'm going to go 1-0 Aston Villa. Norwich versus Everton. Everton obviously drew 0-0 to eventual champions Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, while Norwich lost 3-0 to Southampton. Norwich looked awful. They didn't look like a team that believed they could stay up this season, and I feel like that might continue. Everton looked good under Ancelotti. They really do look good. And they could have won the Merseyside derby if it wasn't for an amazing block by Joe Gomez to see Tom Davies' shot hit the post. Richarlison nearly scored. They had their chances, and probably the best chances in the game to win it. So I can only see an Everton win here. I'm going to go 2-0. Wolves versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth had another poor game, losing 2-0 to Crystal Palace. Whereas Wolves played pretty well against a poor West Ham team, really. Adama Traore came on and made the difference, setting up Raul Jimenez before playing Doherty, who put the ball in for a fantastic volley from Pedro Neto. And I can only see Wolves winning here. Defensively, they're too good, and they can hit teams on the break. And Bournemouth can't defend. Going forward this season, it used to be their key to Bournemouth. Bournemouth would just outscore teams usually, and you can't do that against Wolves, really. And because of this, I don't see a way in for Bournemouth. I'm going to go 2-0 again. Liverpool versus Palace. Palace played very well against Bournemouth, but in a way I don't know if that was because Palace played really well or because Bournemouth was that bad. Liverpool didn't look great again against Everton, and their form from pre the break seemed to have continued. However, again, this isn't going anyway but a Liverpool win. I can see them being pretty much full strength this time out. I'm going to go with a 4-0 win to Liverpool. Burnley Watford. Burnley haven't played yet. I'm filming this on the 22nd, which is when Man City are to play Burnley. So I don't know how they've got on. So I'm going to assume they've lost. They're playing Man City. Man City looked very good against Arsenal, and I think they're only going to be better against Burnley. And I'm going to say Burnley lost to Man City. Whereas Watford, obviously they have played, and they drew 1-0 to Leicester, like I mentioned earlier. This is going to be a cagey affair. This is probably, unfortunately, going to be a 0-0. obviously, like I say, Burnley haven't played yet, so I don't know how they're going to play, how they're going to come out of the break. They could be a whole new team, but realistically, they're probably not going to be. It's going to be an affair where both defences are going to be strong and rigid, and it's going to be a case of either team trying to break through. And I'm going to go 0-0. Next, we have Southampton versus Arsenal. Southampton looked very good against Norwich, but again, I don't know if that's Norwich were just so bad, or because Southampton were very good, especially in that second half. However, Arsenal have been very, very weird against Man City until David Luiz came on and before they got the injuries. I thought they looked pretty good and they was in the game. And against Brighton, they were the better team, but they let it slip both times. And could that happen again against Southampton? It wouldn't be the most un-Arsenal thing to do, would it? And because of this, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a tight game. It literally, genuinely could go either way because of the standard that Arsenal have played at this season. They've played very, very well at points, but something always just flicks in their team halfway through a game where they always then start playing poorly, and it could happen again. So I am going to have to go with a 1-1 draw. And finally, we have Chelsea versus Manchester City. This is going to be a big game. Frank Lampard, he only just beat Aston Villa, while, like I said, Manchester City are looking fantastic. They haven't played. Obviously, Man City will be a bit tired because they do have to play Burnley today. However, I do see him beating Chelsea. I think Chelsea's problem was very evident against Aston Villa. The fact that they're very good at keeping the ball and playing with the ball. But it's usually that final pass, that killer ball that they need to create the chance and score the goal, they usually miss. And you can tell that, especially in that first half against Villa. Had all the ball. But Villa went in 1-0 ahead. I can see this being a similar story. However, they won't have as much of the ball because Pep Guardiola wants the ball. And his players can make that killer pass. Kevin De Bruyne's, the David Silvas, the Bernardo Silvas, the Mahrez's. Even Laporte can make them sort of passes. Fernandinho, Rodri. And because of that, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Manchester City win. Okay, so who is the player to watch? Okay, this week's player to watch is going to be Paul Pogba. When he came on against Spurs and absolutely changed the game for Manchester United, bringing Anthony Martial into the game before he was subbed off, linking up with Bruno Fernandes fantastically, allowing Bruno Fernandes to be freed up a bit, because Spurs gave Bruno Fernandes the treatment Pogba's got throughout his Manchester United career. Stop Bruno Fernandes and you cut off from United's creativity. And that was happening. Bruno Fernandes, like Pogba has in a Manchester United shirt, was breaking free of that some here and there. But when Pogba came on, they had to do it to both. So if Bruno was being man-marked, Pogba was free, and vice versa. And it freed up one of them to be making them passes into the front line, which hadn't been happening throughout the game. Like I say, brought Martial into play. Paul Pogba played that wonderful pass to Marcus Rashford, who just got it, who could have scored if it weren't for a poor first touch. But that's what you get when you get back from not only injury, but from a 3-month break. They're playing Sheffield United, like I say, not been playing very well at all since the break. And they have Manchester United have no excuse not to go and win this game. Like I said, Sheffield United are without Dean Henderson, without Ego. Reports have it that they might be without Connell as well. That's half their back line. There is no excuse for Manchester United to not go win this game, and I think Paul Pogba will be a key part to that. Honourable mentions go to Bruno Fernandes, who I think will be equally as important in the win. Mohamed Salah against Crystal Palace will be fresh and raring to go, and I imagine he will start this game. And yeah, that will be it, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button below, subscribe down below, tell me what you thought of this video, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell for more. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.